a paradox of writing and storytelling is that while much of the work is done alone, I'm sitting here at my writing desk for a long time trying to listen closely to my characters, to hear their voices and bring them to life, and to really imagine deeply and fully a place that's magical so it comes to life for people. But then I discover that once the story enters the world, I'm part of a community, and we are all fellow adventurers in that magical realm, meeting those characters, having adventures, sharing it together. It's one of the greatest blessings about being in the realm of story. And then here's another blessing. I've learned over the years that creativity spawns more creativity. And so all throughout my writing room and my house are elements of wonderful gestures from fans, readers from around the world who've sent me their own art. And it's been many, many times over the most joyful part of the whole experience to share in that together. Let me give you a few examples. Let's start with these staffs. For whatever reason, people don't think I have enough staffs. And so I think outside of Merlin himself in his crystal cave, I probably have more wizard staffs than any living person. You can see these are beautifully hand carved and worked with love and imagination and great skill, and then mailed to me. This one here was carved out of a lightning struck tree. These, I believe, were mountain trees, probably Engelmann spruce. This one came with a marvelous crystal atop, wizard staffs. And so they're here with me all the time as I write, even now. One of the most special pieces of fan art that's here in my writing room is this beautiful statue, carved of ebony, of a reader. It was made for me and sent to me by a fan in Guinea, in West Africa. And to me, it celebrates that shared joy across all boundaries that humans have of reading a story and sharing in that experience. I often look up here and just say, all right, we're on a journey together. Thank you for reminding me what it's all about. As I often say, creativity begets more creativity. And that may come in the form of hand-painted amulets or images of Merlin or wonderful little musical instruments, or in this case, a wreath of magical words that a woman in California put over my head during the middle of a reading when I was introducing the Great Tree of Avalon trilogy. And I'll just never forget that light in her eyes. The words are courage, generosity, belief, hope, compassion, and love. I've been sent marvelous trees by people. Speaking of great trees, this was a tree put together by a class of fourth graders in Washington, D.C., who decided to write their reviews of my book, Tree Girl, inside leaves that they would share with me in this little tree of Avalon. I'm always just blown away by the beauty of it. And I realize at the same time, it's not about me. It's not even about one particular story. It's about the power of story and art to reach people of every possible description. You know, whenever I think about the gifts from fans around the world that I've been blessed to receive, I can't forget one woman in upstate New York who did something really extraordinary. I've never forgotten this moment. I was at the end of a long day of a book tour. This was my fourth or fifth event It was a small town and it had one little wonderful independent bookstore. There was a goodly crowd there gathered, and we had such a marvelous experience together. And about halfway through my reading and talk, this woman got up and left, and I had no idea whether it was to go pick up a child or was it something I said or whatever, but she left. And then fast forward 20, 30 minutes later, I was sitting at the signing table, signing people's books, and she reappeared. And she walked to the front of the line with a hot, steaming pot of the most wondrously aromatic pumpkin soup I had ever smelled. And she put it down right in front of me with a piece of homemade rye bread. And she said, "You know what, everybody? He looks really hungry and tired." And I think it's good we give him a break. Enjoy. This is my grandmother's recipe of pumpkin soup. And never has soup tasted better in my whole life. But what I remember most, even more than that wonderful, poignant, beautiful smell, was the kindness of that woman. Continuing on the theme of fan art, one of my most cherished gifts came from a woman whose name is Nancy, who was moved by this book that centers on Merlin's 7 most magical words to make this glorious creation, which is a fabric collage about those magical words. So she has Merlin here with his wings that he finally earns, as many of you know, in book 5 of the Merlin Saga, surrounded by the key words: gratitude, knowledge, wonder, belief, hope, courage, generosity, and love. This is the biggest fan art piece in our home, and this was made by young people at a drama camp in Virginia, about a decade ago. And you can see that they all participated in making this backdrop to one of the acts in the play. And the play was their own musical version of my Merlin Saga. So they invited me to come at their grand finale performance, which was phenomenal. It was just so beautiful. I laughed, I cried, and I cheered my lungs out. It was just such a beautiful example of young people's creativity. I appreciate all the detail that the students and that wonderful teacher pulled together here. The mermaid who is swimming here, the flag that says Finkyra, and then disappearing into the clouds, some person who has just sprouted wings, a young wizard perhaps. So all of these came together and they gave me this backdrop at the very end. I took it home, unfurled it, and it's been here to this day. A celebration of creativity.